In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at multiple upcoming severe weather events. Not only that, multiple major Arctic blasts as well here in late April. We've just reached the midway point, and we're going to be reaching into late April. Certainly looks like it's going to be a very roller coaster-like second half to the month. So let's just get into things. And I just want to move us towards this morning. Actually, let's take a look at about noontime, because that's going to be when this is coming out. And we can see that there is, this afternoon, some storms already firing up along this corridor here for Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri there, and then Iowa into Minnesota and Wisconsin. We have some thunderstorms firing up kind of along a cold front boundary here that is taking place. There's a very sharp incline there, as you can see in the jet stream, and we see these thunderstorms firing up all along that boundary there. As we reach just towards this evening, we can see that things are going to get even more organized as the jet stream is doing a bit of an S curve here, and I've always kind of mentioned how this is usually a very intense look when we have this type of emotion through things, and we could see again thunderstorms even more organized than before taking place here for Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, even portions of Minnesota here, seeing these pretty intense thunderstorms. Also some snowfall here along areas like the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa, certainly setting up to be a very intriguing storm. As we reach tomorrow afternoon, we can see things are really intensifying. 995 here. We see a very strong cold front underneath, and then a very intense warm front there. This is, again, a very intense look with this one. And we see very intense cool air diving as well. So when you see something like this, it's obviously, you don't have to be a meteorologist to tell that this is certainly a very intense looking storm here. As we reach into that evening, which is going to be Sunday into Monday, 16th into 17th. We can again see this warm front area here up above, featuring mostly wintry weather. And then we see this cold front extending down here, where we see thunderstorms here along this entire corridor there for Monday morning. So certainly going to be something to watch as we see this big cool down heading in. And we could still see plenty of snowfall with this one, even reaching as far southward there as Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and portions of Iowa. Very, very interesting. For the middle of the day here on Monday, we can see this storm is moving northward here, so it's moving up and away. We still see some of this cold front bringing impacts to the northeast, but this should be in general coming to an end. And actually by this point we have storm number 2 beginning, as storm number 1 here is coming to an end. So let's just keep going with this for Tuesday, and that's going to be April 19th. I can't believe we're already talking this far into April. Things are just flying by. We do have some pretty broad low pressure in here. This is a 992. This is a 994. We see both of these storms bringing multiple different impacts here. We can see also some wintry weather, some snowfall behind all of this as well. Certainly worth noting, but this is going to stall out and really fall apart, and it's mostly this low that we see developing by Wednesday afternoon. That's going to be for April 19th here. It's this one right here in southeastern Colorado that we certainly think is going to be a very, very interesting and impactful system to our weather. We could see a cold front developing somewhere in here, bringing some thunderstorms firing up through these areas in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and let's just see how everything progresses. By the time we reach Thursday, we see things getting a lot more organized. Obviously, this storm is already down to a 994 millibar low pressure center. Again, very intense cold front here with storms firing up right out ahead of it. And then we once again have the very heavy snowfall here for the Dakotas taking place as well on the very northern extent of things. This is going to be a very impactful one as well. By Friday afternoon, or Friday morning here, what we see is a 996 here with a far stretching cold front here, something like this. We see thunderstorms all along this area for Friday morning into around the noontime. And then for Friday into Saturday, we see another line of things come through with this cold front as there's cold air diving southward here towards more of your Ohio Valley area. Now, as we reach the high temperatures of Saturday, we see a primary low here, 992, and a secondary low here in 999. And there is pretty much a cold front extending all the way down to Mexico and Texas there, as you can see. Not really much of a warm front feature here at all that you can see, but this is going to be a very intense and very unseasonable Arctic blast that we see associated with this. Even by the time we reach Sunday, it's pretty clear that this just goes ahead and moves out. We see the cold air diving in. And we are going to see a warm-up actually following this, as we can see some storms beginning to move northward from the Gulf states. This is pretty unusual for this time of year, but we see things just rising up through these eastern regions with some storminess. Definitely going to be a very humid and warm week, I think, following this point to close out April. Now, the total precipitation through the next 10 days looks something like this. We have a little bit of activity here in the northwest, but most of this happens in the beginning over the next few days here of the model run. And we see this pipeline eventually get shut off, and we actually start to see a lot of these storms move in from the Gulf here, which is going to be a big shift in the pattern, to say the least. Really, anywhere east of this line here that I'm drawing is expecting far above average precipitation over the next 10 days, seeing 2 to even 5 inches of precipitation or more. Certainly a very, very above average amount for this time of year, which is typically a very dry time of year. Compared to the summer and fall months, very, very early fall months here in the eastern half of the nation. As we take a look at the total snowfall, you can see no surprise at all that the mountainous west is still seeing tons and tons of it. But I think what is more surprising is the upper Midwest into the kind of northern plains and Great Lakes here, seeing 10 inches plus there in the pink and even 20 inches plus there in the pastels. Certainly just an extreme amount of snowfall for this time of year for these folks, as winter just does not want to let go at all. Even some snow showers through the northwest, I mean the northeast better yet, and that is, again, even crazier, I think, than the upper Midwest seeing snowfall. So definitely a very snowy pattern still. And as we take a look at this temperature pattern, we can see things have been very warm, and they are going to continue to be through today on Saturday and into Sunday. But we are going to see this cold front start to advance really quickly here on Sunday, and then on Monday basically everybody's cooled down in the east. But this is going to be very short-lived. Even though we have very intense cold air heading into the east, we are going to see this warmth push back from the south. We'll watch that play out, and that's going to take hold of the Gulf states in the southeast, as you can see. And then our true Arctic blast is going to come next weekend, so the 21st into, let's call it, the 24th. We're going to see this even bigger and much more intense Arctic blast take place here. As you can see, this just really blasts down into the United States straight from the Arctic regions. You can tell that that is where that's coming from. Very, very intense cold here, especially in these brighter greens and even the blues and magentas. That's going to be, 20, 30 degrees below normal, perhaps, for the weekend. The Saturday and Sunday here looking very, very chilly here throughout a lot of the east. And I think what's happening here again is for this upcoming week, at this point, April 25th, not the upcoming one now, but the upcoming one after April 25th, is going to be featuring more warmth pushing up here in the east. That is what we can anticipate for that time frame, I believe. Genuinely, that is what I think is going to be happening there in that upcoming pattern to close out the month of April. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe for daily uploads so you never miss one. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.